this edition of the 3pm project, we'll see some writing warriors from grade 3 catch up on all the news from around the school. Interview Warwick Brown from Surf Coast Times. Check your local weather, plus much more. Now, here's your hosts, Claudia and Oscar.
Hello and welcome to the 3pm show.
Our first story tonight is Writing Warriors from Olivia.
Thank you, Claudia. Hello, I'm Olivia, and today we'll be hearing from Will and Sammy, reading their Writing Warrior piece called The Easter Bunny and Jurassic World Part 1.
World. Part 1. Once there were two boys named Zach and Gray. One day they were going to Jurassic World. When they got there, they saw their Auntie Claire. "Auntie Claire!" they shouted. Claire brought them to the raptor cage. Owen was there. He was feeding Blue, Charlie, Delta and Echo. Then suddenly a vet fell in the raptor cage. Owen jumped in to save him while the other vets opened the doors. Then Blue and Charlie jumped and ate two vets. Claire, Zach and Gray ran downstairs. The raptor pack had escaped. See what happens in Part 2. Jurassic World Part 2. Claire called the ACU and jumped into the vet unit with Zach and Gray. Owen jumped on his dirt bike and rode to the Indominus Rex cage. The ACU troopers had arrived and were trying to find the raptors. Meanwhile, the raptors were at the power plant. Blue flicked a switch that turned off the visitors' lights in the hotels. Then Delta flicked a switch that turned off the computers. Then Charlie flicked a switch that turned off the TV. Then Echo flicked a switch that turned off the dinosaurs' cage's electric. Meanwhile, Owen and two ACU troopers were outside the Indominus Rex cage when a vet came out shouting, "There's no electric!" Then suddenly, Part 3 coming soon.
The Easter Bunny. Once upon a time there was a bunny called Whiskers, and Whiskers loved to make chocolate eggs. Once Whiskers said to his boss, "Boss, tomorrow is Easter." His boss said, "You're right, let's get ready." So they got all their eggs and went off in their Easter egg sleighs. There is 1,000 bunnies and 1,000 people on their list. It took them 1 hour. They finally finished and they returned home. The end.
Thank you, Will, Sammy and Olivia.
Now it's time for the teacher talk with Mr. Semiu.
Mr. Semini, is it alright if me and Cass ask you a few questions?
I would love you to ask me some questions, girls.
What is your favourite sport?
I actually have two favourite sports. I definitely love basketball, and I love playing basketball. But I also love surfing as well, so it's hard for me to pick which one. Maybe with Mick Fanning getting attacked by a shark, I've never seen anybody get attacked playing basketball, so maybe basketball's my new favourite. It's a bit safer.
Yeah. Which do you follow more, Australian footy or basketball?
Basketball, 100%. I barrack for the Essendon Bombers. I had to think of their name for a sec. So you can see how big a football fan I am. So
Yeah.
definitely basketball.
What's your favourite basketball team?
The New York Knicks, 100%.
What's your favourite player on the New York Knicks?
We've just got a lot of new players. our best player is Carmelo Anthony, and I'd still probably have to say him. So Carmelo Anthony would be my favourite.
Do you have
player.
any pets?
I have no pets. No, I'm not responsible enough for a pet, I don't think.
How old are you?
Whew. Old enough to go bald. So 31.
How long have you been teaching for?
I've been teaching. I think this is my 4th year at Balbray, but last year I was teaching in Malaysia. So 4 years at Balbray and 5 years teaching all up.
What can the grade 3s expect next year in grade 4?
Well, if we stay in the same building, which I'm not sure that we will, but fingers crossed we do, you get the fantastic big open learning area up in the big 4-5 building. If we stay there, you get, fingers crossed, still have the one-to-one iPad program, which is fantastic. You'll be doing lots of work with iPads and a lot of fun excursions and camps. So a lot of fun, basically. Grade 4 is great.
Thank you for letting us ask you some questions, Mr. Semeny. Bye.
Thank you, girls.
Bye.
Thank you, Cass and Alan.
Now it's time for the best report.
Hi, my name's Mika and this is Zara. We're going to give you an update on Belgrade Primary School's best team. 3D will be collecting the compost at the end of every lunchtime. We are still collecting boomerang bags. Please put your bags in the box at the front foyer. There will be a chicken box at the office for you to put your food scraps in. We're going to put a box at the office for you to put your crushed egg cells in. Remember to put your compost in the compost bin. No meat or citrus. Now back to you, Oscar and Claudia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mika and Zara, for the wonderful update.
Now it's time for the 3 p.m. project quiz.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and today we're doing a quiz. Today's quiz is, what is the biggest volcano in the world? A. Mount St. Helens in United States. B. Mount Brobo in Australia. C. Mauna Loa in Hawaii. The answer to the quiz will be given to later in the program. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Charlie, for that quiz. We'll have the answer later in the show.
Now it's time for Beltway Bulletin.
Hello, and welcome to the Belgrade Bulletin. My name is Sawyer.
My name is Kiki and today we are talking about Belgrade. First we are talking about the art room being replaced and knocked down, and following that is the gym and Mr. Evans' room being knocked down and replaced as well.
In other news, the grade 3s are going on a camp at Camp Wayuna on the 24th to the 27th. I hear it will be very fun from the last time they were on camp. Also, we had the 40-hour famine last week where kids gave up something like food, technology, furniture and much more to raise money for people that don't have much food and water.
And as well, following that is the 5-cent wire gap is still going on. And that's all for Belgrade Bulletin. Back to the studio with Oscar and Claudia.
Thank you, Kiki and Sawyer, for all that Belgrade news.
Now it's time with an interview with Mr. Warwick Brown from Surf Coast Chimes.
Elijah, and today I'll be interviewing Warwick Brown from the Surf Coast Times. Anyway, let's get into the questions. Hi Warwick, is it nice to own the Surf Coast Times?
It is nice to own the local newspaper, the Surf Coast Times. It's a good opportunity to give something back to the community and see some stories from kids through to surf life saving, through to businesses, and some good local businesses and entertainment and information.
Do you have to work hard at the Surf Coast Times?
Do you think I need to work hard?
Yes.
Yes, there's a lot of hard work involved in putting a newspaper together, from finding stories to getting correct information on stories, and filling it up with some advertising to help get it out there to the public, and then to put it all together at the printers and then print a lot of copies and then distribute them to all of the local houses and some bulk drop locations.
Thanks. How many people work at your work?
There's 17 in the office, there's 5 in advertising, there's 2 in admin, there's 4 journalists and 3 graphic designers. Is that 17? I think so, roughly. And then we've got about 150 people that help distribute the paper each week.
How many papers have you sold?
None.
Really?
Yeah, the Surf Coast Times is a free publication that gets delivered to everyone at no charge. So we don't sell any; we give them away. So all of the newspaper, a lot of the businesses advertise in the newspaper that allow us to distribute it for free. So all the community news and information can get out to the public. But if you wanted to know how many we distributed,
Yes.
we do about 39,056 each week.
When did you start your job?
At the paper, I started at the Surf Coast Times in 2005, so 10 years ago, on the 6th of December. It'll be 10 years. So yeah, it's grown as a paper. We had 4 staff then, and we used to have about 15 people deliver the papers, young kids. There's a couple of local Torquay boys playing footy at the footy club that used to deliver the papers back in those days that have grown up now and are doing other jobs.
Have you ever taken a photo of a shark and put it in the paper?
Well, I've never personally taken a photo of a shark and put it in the paper, although we did print a photo of Mick Fanning fighting that shark the other day. But there has been a couple of shark sightings down in Lorne and Apollo Bay over the last 8 to 10 years, and more so probably a lot of whales. We get a lot of whales, a lot of whale watching season. A lot of whales along the coastline. I think it's around September, and then again in March.
Did you have any jobs before you started the Surf Coast Times?
I did. I've had a few jobs. I used to work in a newspaper in Perth where my son Elijah was born. And prior to that, I worked in air conditioning. And prior to that, when I was at school, I worked at McDonald's. And McDonald's was great. I learned a lot of disciplines at McDonald's, and learned a lot of really good manners and skills and structures in working.
If any students were interested in doing the newspaper, what advice would you give them?
If anyone wanted to work at the Surf Coast Times, we actually have a lot of, probably some of the Bellbrae students, certainly some Torquay students as well, Torquay Secondary, that actually do deliveries. And a good way to start is doing a paper round. And once you start delivering some papers, you might, as you go through your schooling, you might have a keen interest in writing stories, and this day and age doing videos, and a lot of those opportunities now exist in newspapers and media to, you know, if you're good at writing, you can become a journalist. If you like taking photos, we use a lot of photographers, and now there's a lot of videos where we do short video clips and run them on our social media and run them on our website. So there's a lot of ways to get involved in a newspaper, and we actually have quite a lot of high school students that come in and do part of their studies, do a week with us, and they go out onto jobs and talk to different people and end up with their name in the paper as writing an article.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks,
and we'll
Elijah.
see you next time.
Cheers.
Interview time with Elijah and Warwick Brown. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Elijah, for that great interview.
Now it's time for the weather.
Thank you, Oscar and Claudia.
Hi, I'm Olivia and this is Lady.
We'll be telling the weather from August the 6th to August the 10th.
On Thursday,
The high will be 12 and the low will be 5.
possible shower. On Friday,
The high will be 13 and the low will be 5.
possible shower. On Saturday,
The high will be 13 and the low will be 4.
mostly sunny. On Sunday,
The high will be 15 and the low will be 4.
late shower. On Monday,
The high will be 13 and the low will be 6.
possible shower. Bye.
Back to the studio.
Now it's time for the presenter. Back to you, Charlie.
Welcome back to the quiz. The answer is C, Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks for watching, and on behalf of all the grade 3s, good night.
Goodbye.